She was beaten to death with wooden bath shoes, and her body was thrown from the walls of the Cairo citadel. It was left there for 3 days. 3 days before that, she had been the Sultan of Egypt. Prior to that, she had captured the King of France, ransomed him, and ended a crusade. And she had done all of it from a throne no woman before her had ever held. This is Shajar-al-Durr. She started with nothing, no country, no bloodline, and no name anyone thought to record before she took power. She built everything. To understand what she achieved, you need to understand the world she walked into. Egypt in the 1240s was ruled by the Ayyubid Dynasty, founded by Saladin. It was held together by Mamluk soldiers. Mamluks were enslaved warriors who were purchased as boys from the Turkic steppes and trained entirely for the war. They owned nothing, and they answered to the Sultan, but they were the ones with the swords. And in a world where swords are the argument, the Mamluks were already winning. Shajar-al-Durr came from that same slave economy, likely taken from the Kipchak steppes. Some also say Armenia. The records are not precise about her origins. They rarely were, for women like her. She was purchased, she was trained, and then she entered the palace. By 1240, she was not just a concubine. She was the legal wife of Sultan Ayyub of Egypt. She was in the room, and what she understood about that room was about to change the course of a war. In November 1249, it was the 7th Crusade. King Louis IX of France had landed in Egypt with one of the largest crusading armies in history. He intended to take Cairo. Sultan Ayyub was dying from tuberculosis. He could barely leave his tent. Shajar-al-Durr understood what the death of a sultan meant in the middle of a war. The army fractures. The generals fight each other. The enemy walks through. So she concealed it. For weeks she forged his royal orders. She signed his name. She managed the generals, the supply lines, the internal politics of an empire under siege. The Sultan of Egypt was dead. No one outside that room knew. On the 6th of April, 1250, Egyptian forces met the Crusaders at the Battle of Fariscour. They crushed them. King Louis IX of France was captured. The most powerful Christian ruler in the world, taken prisoner by an army a dead man commanded, because one woman refused to let anyone know he was dead. The heir arrived in May. His name was Turan Shah. He lasted 2 months. In that time, he alienated the Mamluk commanders, and then he threatened the power of the men who had actually won the war. He made the fatal mistake of believing the throne was simply his. The Mamluks killed him. And then, for the first time in the history of Islamic Egypt, they named a woman sultan. Her seal read, Mother of Khalil. Khalil was her son. He had died in infancy. This was the only name she chose to carry into power. She didn't name herself queen. She didn't name herself regent. She named herself mother. Mother of a child who is already gone. Somewhere in that choice is everything you need to understand about what it cost her to get here. Her first act as Sultan was to negotiate the release of Louis IX. Across the table sat Queen Margaret of Provence, who was his wife, a woman who had mortgaged her own jewels to raise the ransom herself. Here sat 2 women, one a former slave, and the other a queen of France. Together they ended the 7th Crusade. 400,000 livres tournois, the return of the city of Damietta, and Louis IX went home. Even with all their success, the Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad refused to recognize her rule. He sent a message, and it read, "If you have no men in Egypt, tell us. We will send you one." Even though she had just defeated a crusade, she had just ransomed a king. The answer was, "We will send you a man." Under that pressure, she made a calculation. She married Ibak, a senior Mamluk general, and transferred the Sultan's title to him. The Caliph accepted it. The court accepted it. However, Shajar-al-Durr kept the power. For 7 more years, she governed from behind a title that was no longer officially hers. Then Aybak began negotiating a second marriage, a political alliance. This involved getting another woman, a new power base. She had run Egypt through a war. She had given him a throne he could not have held without her. And he was negotiating for someone else? In April 1257, Shajar-al-Durr had Aybak killed in his bath. The arrest came within days. There was a trial, and the outcome was never in question. She was handed to the servants of Aybak's first wife. They beat her to death with wooden bath shoes, and her body was thrown from the walls of the Cairo citadel. It lay there for 3 days. Was she a villain because she killed her husband? Or was she a genius? She ran a country in secret during a war. She defeated a crusade. She ransomed a king. She governed one of the most powerful empires on earth. Maybe those aren't 2 different answers. Maybe the question itself is wrong. The real question is, what kind of world responds to that mind with wooden shoes? The dynasty she helped build did not stop at Egypt. In 1260, 10 years after Faraskar, Mamluk forces met the Mongol army at the Battle of Ain Jalut, and they won. This was the only army in the world that stopped the Mongol advance, built on the foundation she held together, while a dead sultan signed his name. Her mausoleum still stands in Cairo. Her seal still reads, Mother of Khalil. She built everything from nothing, and she was destroyed not by an enemy, not by a stronger army, but by the one man she trusted, with the one thing she could not hold alone. The wooden shoes are not a footnote. They are the whole story. If you enjoy stories about powerful, dangerous, and misunderstood women in history, you're in the right place. This is Power Lens, where we uncover the truth behind history's most unforgettable women.